So how can we calculate the mean and the median by Excel rather than doing it by hand? It's really straightforward. I've pulled up Excel right here. Let's enter just some fake numbers in here to work with. So I can just type in random stuff. I can type in a big number, maybe another big number, and then some more numbers, just random numbers. Now what's the average of these numbers? We can do this a couple of different ways. In fact, 3 different ways that I can think of offhand. The first is just to highlight all the cells that we want an average of. And if you look at the bottom of your Excel screen, it gives you immediately some nice summary statistics. I hope you can see that down there. It looks like the average is, well, you know what, that's a huge number, and I need commas to read that. Let's make this a little bit more readable. So we highlight these, and I get an average of 105.8. I like this if all I just need is a very quick eyeball on it. I don't need to store that calculation. I just need to quickly look and see what it is. If we're going to use that number as part of an ongoing calculation, then it's best to actually hard code it into our spreadsheet. So we need a formula. Now we could do this just by saying, well, take cell A1 plus cell A2 plus cell A3 all the way down to cell A15 and then divide by 15. That's kind of clunky. So instead, what we're going to do is use a built-in formula that Excel already has in it. Now all formulas start with an equal sign. It tells Excel it needs to calculate something. And then we type in the word average. Notice that there's a couple different versions and stuff. Excel kind of prompts you, for all of your options. We want the simplest one. We just want average. And then we're going to tell it, well, the average of what? And you could, again, key in these numbers by hand. You could do 5, 6, 3, and so forth. It's a lot of typing. You could do A1, A2, and type all the way down to A15. That's a lot of typing. Or you could say A1 through A15. Notice it highlighted that automatically for me. Excel is kind of smart like that. Then just put a closing parentheses and hit enter, and we get that number that I had reported earlier. The same number that we had down here, 105.86. So that's our quick and easy average. We might want to write ourselves a note that what we just calculated was the average. Now, what about the median? Have a nice little label there just so we know what we're looking at. Click into the cell where we want to calculate. Tell Excel we want to calculate something, so start off with an equal sign. And then just simply type in median. Open your parentheses, and then the same thing. We could type in 5, 6, 3, or A1, A2, A3, or better yet, A1 through A15. And in fact, I can just do that automatically just by clicking on A1, keeping that mouse button clicked, and dragging all the way down. And then Excel actually even types in the range A1 through A15 for me. It's very nice. Very nice. Close the parentheses, hit enter. We see that the middle number was 5. And now notice here that we had these 2 huge outliers. They were pulling up our average by a whole lot. But most people, most observations were pretty close to, some single-digit number right there. And sure enough, the median reflects that. So the median is robust to these very high values that really aren't representative of most people. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe you do want the average. It's really a user case kind of situation. Now, if we want a whole slew of summary statistics, rather than typing in all of your formulas, there's yet another shortcut that we could use. That depends on whether you have something called the Data Analysis Tool Pack already installed into Excel. If you don't, go to File, and then you're going to go to Options, add-ins, and there's the analysis tool pack, and you would click OK and it would automatically install it. Excel doesn't like cluttering up its already cluttered interface with a bunch of options that people might not use. But as a statistics student, you're going to be using this. It's best to just go ahead and install it. Once it is installed, you'll find it in the Data tab, all the way to the right there, Data Analysis. So click on that. And then you can calculate a whole bunch of fancy statistics, including the more simpler descriptive statistics. And if you click on that, it has a nice little bunch of options for you. It asks for the input range, and that would be A1 through A15. You just use your mouse to drag that down. And tell it you want summary statistics. Let's tell it where to put this table. I'm just going to minimize that by clicking that little cell. And I'm going to tell it I want it right there. Hit enter, and that just keys in the location that it's going to put all this nice summary statistics for us. Click OK, and there it is. There we have a whole table of summary statistics, including some of our favorites, like the mean, 105, and the median, which is 5, and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And we'll learn about most of these as the course progresses. All right, so that's how to calculate mean and median very easily in Excel. Incidentally, the mode is just defined to be the most frequently occurring value in a data set. That also happens to be 5. You see the number 5 happened 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And no other single value happened that many times. So it's another way of saying a common observation. The most common number was also 5. And that is another commonly used measure of location for a data set.